Attention! The Bears have a secret weapon that the NFL Network isn't mentioning. They travel 5,000 less miles than most. Translation? Fresh bodies to break defenses in the fourth quarter. But there's more. A 7th round RB is shaking. Up practices? Kyle Monai? Yes, the one analysts call irrelevant. When Ben Johnson gives the green light, they're going to regret it. And don't forget about Luther Burden. Worst destination? Ha! With Caleb Williams launching missiles and 3 elite receivers. This is redemption. Bears family, if you're not subscribed, you're missing out. Smash that like button now and hit the bell. Because what's coming is unforgiving. Bear down. The Chicago Bears have an advantage that could be decisive in the 2025 season. And it's not what you're thinking. While everyone talks about Caleb Williams and the new offensive weapons, a crucial detail has just been revealed. The Bears will travel the 5th least distance in the entire NFL this season. According to a report by Bill Sparrows of Bookies, our team will cover just 12,522 total miles, well below the league average of 19,561 miles. To put this in perspective, our divisional rivals, the Packers and Lions, will travel similar distances with 12,929 and 11,411 miles respectively. But the Vikings will have to endure a grueling total of 19,319 miles due to their international game. Why is this important? I'll tell you this. The accumulated fatigue from traveling can be a decisive factor when teams compete for a playoff spot. Teams that travel less tend to be fresher towards the end of the season when every win counts. Among our opponents, Cincinnati will have the least travel load with only 8,753 miles, while San Francisco, one of our toughest rivals this year, will face a brutal schedule of 28,363 miles, more than double ours. The most interesting point is how these numbers could impact week-to-week performance. Will the Bears benefit from this logistical advantage? I absolutely believe so. The NFL is a game of inches, and any advantage, no matter how small, can make the difference between a win and a loss. But there's more. We already know we'll have 2 games on special dates. Black Friday, November 28th, in Philadelphia on Amazon Prime, and Saturday, December 20th, against Green Bay on Fox. There are also rumors of a possible Christmas game against Washington, adding another dimension to the schedule. How will these holiday games affect the team's preparation? Let me ask you, do you prefer the Bears to play on special days or stick to the traditional Sunday routine? Personally, I think the national exposure is invaluable for a rising team like ours. This scheduling advantage could be exactly what Ben Johnson needs in his first year as head coach. Less time on planes means more time on the training field, more time for Caleb Williams to adjust to the system, and more time for this revamped offense to find its rhythm. Now, let me tell you about a hidden gem that could become the next big surprise for the Bears, Kyle Monai. This 7th round running back from Rutgers University is being completely ignored by practically all NFL analysts. But I'm telling you, that's a big mistake. A 7th round pick turned into a Pro Bowler? Sounds crazy, I know. But let's look at the facts before dismissing this possibility. Monai enters an ideal situation with the Bears. DeAndre Swift will undoubtedly be the main back due to his contract. But Ben Johnson has historically used 2 back systems, and someone will have to take those between tackle carries. Who better than Monai for that role? At Rutgers, he proved to be a tough, consistent runner. Exactly the perfect complement to Swift's more elusive style. And what impresses me most? He has no fumbling issues. Something critical for a rookie looking to earn the coaching staff's trust. Currently, the running back rotation includes Roshan Johnson and Travis Homer, in addition to Swift and Monai. But I ask you, does any of them have the potential to be a dominant between the tackles runner? I think not, and that's where Monai could find his niche. There are persistent rumors that the Bears might be interested in Nick Chubb, the former Cleveland runner. If that happens, it would obviously change Monai's equation. But until that occurs, this rookie has a real chance to carve out a spot on the roster. What really excites me is the type of offense Ben Johnson is installing. As we saw in Detroit, Johnson knows how to maximize the ground game, and someone in that backfield is going to benefit enormously. Why not Monai? The Bears' offensive line, which was completely rebuilt this offseason with the addition of Joe Thuney, Jonah Jackson, and Drew Delman, should provide much more running room than last year. That alone increases the chances of success for any running back in this offense. I am not saying Monai will be a Pro Bowler in his rookie season. That would be unrealistic. But if he manages to stay on the active roster and eventually earn a significant role, he has all the tools to become a special player. And in a system that promises to emphasize the ground game, that is a recipe for success. Now let's move on to news that sincerely perplexes me. According to Alex K. from Bleacher Report, the Chicago Bears are the worst possible destination for the stellar development of our second-round pick, wide receiver Luther Burden III. Seriously? The worst possible destination? K argues that with DJ Moore and Rome Odunze already established as the primary pass options, along with the addition of Colston Loveland in the first round, Burden could fall through the cracks and become another failed first-rounder for the Bears. What a way to welcome a rookie. I believe this analysis is fundamentally wrong for several reasons. First, since when did having multiple talented receivers become a problem? I ask you, would you prefer Williams to have few options so that a single receiver could rack up stats? This fantasy football mentality has no place in real football. Burden was a luxury second-round pick. Absolutely. But Ryan Poles has repeatedly said, the Bears took the best player available on their board when their turn came. The fact that a first-round talent receiver fell to pick 39 was a gift they couldn't refuse. What Kay seems to ignore is Ben Johnson's track record. In Detroit, Johnson found ways to keep multiple receivers productive simultaneously. St. Brown, Williams, Laporta, all thrived in that offense. Why would it be any different with the Bears? Burden caught 100, 92 passes for 2,263 yards and 21 touchdowns in his 3 seasons at Missouri. In his final year, he set new personal records with 86 receptions, 1,212 yards, and 9 touchdowns, being named to the first team All-SEC in 2023 and 2024. This is not a project. He is a proven producer who just fell in the draft. Moreover, the Bears have a clear plan for him. Burden excelled in the slot position at Missouri, and that's precisely the role they need to fill in Chicago. Moore and Odunze can dominate the outside, while Burden terrorizes defenses from the slot, a role that has historically been very productive in Johnson's offenses. What frustrates me most about this analysis is the insinuation that the Bears simply picked Burden without a plan to use him. As if a sane general manager would waste a second-round pick on a player they didn't intend to use. If they really didn't have a plan for Burden, they would have traded the pick. The fact that the Bears handed in their card with Burden's name shows they're planning a true offensive explosion. He may not be the first option in some games, but Johnson will be planning ways to get the ball into Burden's hands in open space early and often. If you've been following the Bears this offseason, you know that Ryan Poles has been working tirelessly to transform this franchise. But what you might not know is that Pro Football Focus has just awarded the Bears the highest possible grade for their 2025 offseason, an impressive A+. Do the Bears deserve this perfect grade? I think there's no doubt about it. In fact, PFF only handed out 2 A+ grades in the entire league, to the Bears and the Patriots. And let's be honest, the Bears are much closer to competing for a playoff spot than New England is. This offseason has simply been extraordinary on every level. It began with the hiring of Ben Johnson as head coach, perhaps the most important addition of all. Johnson not only brought with him a dynamic offensive system, but also helped lure Dennis Allen as defensive coordinator, creating possibly the best coaching staff the Bears have had in decades. I ask you, when was the last time the Bears had coaches who inspired this much confidence on both sides of the ball? I remember the days of Lovie Smith and Ron Rivera, but even then, offense was always a weak point. Then came the additions to the offensive line, the team's weakest link in 2024. Poles spared no resources, bringing in Joe Thuney via trade, and signing Jonah Jackson and Drew Delman in free agency. Suddenly, a line that was a catastrophe transformed into a respectable, if not formidable, unit. This allowed the Bears to take the best player available approach in the draft, resulting in picks like Colston Loveland, Luther Burden III, and Ozzy Trapilo. As Trevor Sikkema of PFF notes, Chicago didn't really address the running back position this offseason, but if the team was going to deprioritize any position, that was the one. Let's ponder this for a moment. The Bears rebuilt their coaching staff, solidified their offensive line, and added even more weapons to a group of skill players that already included DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, and Rome Odunze, all while maintaining a defense that finished among the league's best in 2024. And who's the direct beneficiary of all these moves? Caleb Williams, of course. The rookie quarterback enters a situation that many veterans would envy. A rebuilt offensive line, multiple elite receivers, a brilliant offensive coordinator. Everything is set up for Williams to succeed from day one. However, as we all know, off-season grades don't win games. Now that players are returning to the field, this new Bears team must prove that all this expectation is justified. Victories are expected, and they're expected in 2025. I believe we finally have the right leadership with Johnson, and there's no doubt we have the right quarterback in Williams. The question is no longer if the Bears will improve, but by how much. Playoffs? Division? Who knows? For the first time in a long time, everything seems possible in Chicago. Do you really think Luther Burden is doomed to be another frustrated receiver in Chicago? Or do you see his drop in the draft as the deal of the century? Share your opinions in the comments. Do you think Kyle Monai has what it takes to beat the odds and become a Pro Bowler? Or is he just another 7th-round back destined for oblivion? I'd love to know your analysis. Does this travel schedule advantage really matter? Or do you agree with my opinion that every little edge counts in such a competitive league? Leave your predictions on how the Bears' 2025 season will end. This channel is committed to bringing you the deepest and most honest analysis of the Chicago Bears that you won't find anywhere else. If you value this kind of unfiltered content and want to be part of this community of true fans, like this video and subscribe right now. We are more than a channel. We are a family united by our passion for the Bears. I promise to keep bringing you exclusives and analysis that you won't find anywhere else. See you in the next video, Bears family.